but we're recording Thursday evening. It's it's Wednesday evening. Camilla,
No,
I messed it up at the very beginning.
It
It's
is
Wednesday
Thursday.
evening.
It's Thursday evening.
Shoot, it's Wednesday. You know what? I just worked 11 days in a row. So there you go.
That-
I'm a little
yeah,
confused.
Time starts to get warped.
I'm
It's
sure
okay.
that wouldn't have happened if I didn't work 11 days in a row.
No.
Okay, let's do it again.
Okay.
3, 2, and 1.
Weatherman, we can't allow any further delay. So stop.
Well, hello and welcome to the First Alert Weather Podcast. We're recording this on Thursday evening. It is March 6th. Did I get that part right, Camilla?
You did. You nailed it.
That was try too, folks. And I've got Camila Ortiz here, our other meteorologist. How you doing?
Yes. Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Very good. So Peyton, our newest meteorologist, she has something going on this evening. She said she couldn't make it. Katie as well. We're recording this at 7:11 p.m. She's asleep because,
Getting
those
ready,
morning people
yeah.
get up really early.
Yeah.
You are probably watching or listening to this on Friday. Good chance, Friday the 7th. So that means the weekend is just about here. We have a fantastic weekend on the way. Camilla, are you excited?
Yeah. It looks really nice. I'm going to be doing a couple bike rides with friends, so it's going to be perfect for that.
And you'll be working too, right?
Oh.
Minor detail.
Yeah. I guess I'll squeeze that in.
What a jerk. What a jerk. Yeah, we have a really nice spell of weather. I'd say this first week of March, not bad for March, right?
Yeah.
Really
so far,
nice.
so good.
Yeah, I got an extra day off this weekend, so that'll be fun. Okay, so episode 129, it's just the two of us, but it's going to be action-packed, folks. We're going to talk about these different items here. We're going to talk about March. It's here. We hit 70 degrees. In fact, that was the last day of February, was it not? It was last Friday, right?
I think so.
Yes. Oh, here we go. You hear the typing. And I mean, really, we can debate this, but spring is pretty much here. It feels like spring, looks like spring. We'll get into that. That's item number one. Number two, we'll do a preliminary winter recap. Now, as of now, we don't have all the data back from the National Center for Environmental Information. They have all the charts and everything, but we can kind of give you a general idea of how this winter was compared to normal.
Mm-hmm.
We will talk about what's ahead through mid-month. So we'll let you know what we're seeing here. We can see pretty well through about St. Patrick's Day or so, which is mid-month.
Yep.
We've got the term of the week. All right.
It's a good one.
Yep, it's a good one. And then viewer photos. We've got some good viewer photos as well, some really pretty ones out there. So let's jump right into it. All right, let the debate begin. The Met fight. How do you start a Met fight? Hashtag there. Meteorological spring versus astronomical spring. If you've watched me over the years, this is my weird little thing here. But we all look at the calendar. And what day is it? The spring start, Camilla?
March 1st.
No, I mean the calendar.
Oh.
Traditional spring.
Does it actually say the start of spring on a calendar? Maybe I haven't looked at a calendar in a minute. Does that surprise you?
You just go to your Outlook calendar. Yeah, they still say spring begins or spring.
Oh.
It usually just says spring, right? Depends on the calendar.
I would have brought my planner to see if it does that.
I mean, this place is like the archive center of the station, so there's like no calendar.
Wait, there's a calendar right over there. Hold on, I gotta look.
Okay.
I got.
Well, you do that. I'm going to get something too. We're going to keep going though. This is how old this place is, folks. It has one of these phones in here, so it's a really old.
That one does not say it.
Yeah, it has. I just showed it has one of those really old phones. But the point is, not to bring it to a crawl here, so we like to refer to that as astronomical spring or traditional spring. That's based on the sun position here. That's March 20th through June 20th. That would be spring, a 3-month period. Okay, now the official spring, at least according to NOAA, meteorological spring, that is March, April, and May. That's based on the weather, whereas the other one was based on the sun position. It's easiest for record keeping if we just do it by, even months. So we got March, April, and May, right? And it's the period of time between the 3 coldest months, December, January, February, and the 3 warmest months, June, July, August.
Yeah. Seems like a logical way to organize things.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because the deal is it's a little tricky because the sun, starts going up pretty quickly in February, even though we're still in winter. The sun is getting pretty strong. But the surface of the earth, the oceans for sure, but even the land surface lags that increasing sun energy coming in. So basically, depending on what part of the planet you're on, you're going to have different times that in your mind, you're like, okay, it feels like spring here. It feels like summer here. I would say for us, since we have pretty mild winters, we do just kind of ease into the spring. I would consider March a spring month. Some would argue that we should consider September more summer than June because sometimes it's cool and wet in our climate in June, but sometimes we have really warm June. So whatever.
Yeah.
You got any deep thoughts do you have any complaints about that, Camilla?
I mean, June I mean, June feels like summer to me. Don't you think June, and haven't
In other
June's been getting
places,
warmer and warmer too?
think about
Here?
how many places in the USA June is summer, right?
Oh, yeah.
All
Yeah,
across the eastern USA, June is summer.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. So March in Portland, typically, I would say one kind of big banner here is that spring arrives here in Portland and west of the Cascades in the month of March. Winter, basically winter snow and ice, the chance of that really fades away. Yes, we covered this last week. Yes, we can still get a wet snowfall. We've had a winter like storm here in Portland as late as about, I think it was the 7th of March, was it 1951, where like 7 inches of snow fell at the top of the West Hills in the morning and a few inches, was it 5 inches in the city?
Wow.
So, but that's about the latest. So basically after the first week of March, you're not going to shut down the city by any snow or ice storm.
Yeah.
In fact, in my whole career, I don't think I've seen any significant freezing rain ever after March 1st.
Didn't you say, what was it, 7 years ago today?
Yeah, 6.
There was some significant, 6 years ago, some
I
snow
had
in Portland.
forgotten about this. It was on this date. We're recording this on the 6th. And on March 6th, 2019, there was actually a light scattered showers turned to a steady snow in the afternoon, and about a half inch, officially I think a half inch, arrived in east of Portland at the Park Rose National Weather Service.
Wow.
So that was, that's pretty late in the season, especially that it happened later in the day, during the peak heating of the day.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty interesting. But you can see the average high goes from the mid 50s to about 60 on the 31st. First 70-degree day typically arrives toward the end of the month. Of course, this year it arrived early, if I'm correct. Yeah, I am correct. Wait, it was the earliest 70 on record.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Wait,
Yeah,
was it? Yeah.
Yeah, because we had 71. I'm sorry, that 70 was on Thursday the 27th, wasn't it? Not the 28th.
Now we need to look. Hold on.
It's only a week ago. You're going to look it up. I'm going to keep talking. That's fine. You look it up.
Pulled up. Yeah.
The other thing to point out is that the rain, you always think, it's getting a little drier as we head into spring. Actually, we get just as much rain on average in March as in the month of February. So yeah, we drop off from December, January, February on the rain, but then it levels off in March, and then it does drop again in April. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on the 27th, by the way.
Right.
That's 70-degree day.
Because the record for February still stands at 71, but this was our earliest 70.
Yeah. Interesting.
So how warm can it get in March? This only takes the last, what do we have, about 10 years here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we got 10 years. And we had a 77 last year on the 18th. That was our warmest March day in quite a while.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
You can see most years at some point in March, it's going to be upper 60s or low 70s. But some years it's a little bit more than that. Do I have the 2005? Oh, yeah, this is an oldie but a goodie. I've had this graphic for way back.
The March heat wave of 2005.
Heat wave is in air quotes.
Yeah.
March 2005. I still remember this. Am I getting old every time I say, yeah, I still remember this 20 years ago?
Yeah, well, I'll reserve comment.
Yeah. So 5 consecutive record highs still stand from the 7th through the 11th. We were 69 or higher. I know part of this was over a weekend because I remember a weekend with shorts on and a T-shirt. It was great.
That's crazy.
Amazing. And if you just take the 7 days, the 6th through the 12th, we were 67 or higher for 7 consecutive days. I remember it was getting very dry as well with the east wind.
Yeah.
And I have to say this every time I bring up this little heat wave. It is not an indication of what's coming up for the rest of the spring because I remember clearly around the 15th of the month, it suddenly went rainy and there was not a significant spell of warm and dry weather until either the end of April or early May. So we went like the next 6 weeks were basically cool and wet spring weather.
I bet people were cranky about that. Well, maybe some people. Some people probably weren't.
Oh,
but a heat wave in March is better than a heat wave in July.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
It was just fine. We survived the big heat wave. Let's just put it that way. And then rain, we've had some pretty good Marches lately. It's funny. It's kind of a cyclical thing. It seems like before this period, 2005 to 2015, 16, we had a lot of wet Marches. And then we had 4 there. No, we had 5 consecutive Marches with below average rain, 2018 to 2022.
Yeah.
One wettish one, not crazy wet, but 2023. And then last year, back to the drier stuff.
Interesting.
So, been a little bit drier lately. Oh, we got more graphics, folks. If you're thinking, how many more graphics do you have? We're just loading things up.
The limit does not exist.
Camila knows I just spent the 4 or 5, well, mostly just the 6 jamming in all the weather graphics to get the podcast done between shows here because we got to get this done between our end of the 6 o'clock show and the beginning of the 8. It's a very efficient machine here.
From last year, huh?
Yeah, so this is March last year. See that warm spell? I remember it was over a weekend. We hit 76, 76, 77.
Wow.
But the whole month was kind of up and down, like you would expect in March.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a Nebraska March. Well, not quite.
Not quite. You need to see some below freezing days mixed in there too.
Mm-hmm. We had some consecutive days. Oh, we had 5 days consecutive at or above 70. That was last year, Friday through a Tuesday, and that had only happened twice in the past. So that was a pretty remarkable warm spell, the middle of March last year. Okay, so let's go a little farther back. What about winter? I do have a big winter recap meeting. Our local AMS chapter has a meeting every year where we recap the winter. I'm going to do that in about a week and a half. So I need to get that done. Camilla, I've only made it through early January, which means I still got quite a ways to go. I got to get that done. Got to get it done.
Well, we got time.
And this is one of the slides I have. Big picture, winter 2024-25. We had near normal temps and precip in the Pacific, most of the Pacific Northwest. For sure here in Northwest Oregon and Southwest Washington. We focus on this area because that's where Portland is located and also Vancouver. And most of our viewers are in this area. There was only one period. This is somewhat unusual for a La Nina winter. We only had one brief period where snow, quote, threatened the lowlands, or there was a chance of snow, and that was early February for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. About 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was
the rest of the winter wasn't even close, right?
Yeah.
So not real exciting. No major windstorms. Had some wind. Cascade snowfall as of now is about average. I think I've got a graphic coming up here, but huge snowpack in, where is it? Never mind. You saw it last
I'm going to be sick.
I think it never, I think it never made it in. Where's that graphic? Okay. Well,
sometimes it is better to just listen.
Everybody close your eyes and imagine.
We should put a strobe warning before the podcast starts.
Yeah, that's what we should. Folks, I just want everybody to close their eyes, and we're going to imagine that Mount Hood Basin's snowpack, snow water equivalent is about 80% of average.
Okay.
Are your eyes closed? I can't see.
I'm sorry.
Okay. And farther south in Oregon, it's about 130 to 150% of average. So doing really well there across southern and southeast Oregon. You know what? I may have left that out because we showed that last week. I don't remember.
I don't either.
Let's move on. So just in Portland, the average temperatures, it's funny, even as meteorologists, those numbers, December, January, February, don't really mean anything to me. Notice they're all kind of close together, the average temperature for the month. But then when you put up the anomaly, then it's more obvious.
Right.
December.
How much above or below normal.
Right. December was well above average, warm and wet.
Yeah.
December. January was near normal. I think we started mild and wet, and then we went into remember the cold and clear, or the cool and clear stuff with the cold nights, but the nice days around 50.
Yes, those were
my
nice.
Favorite winter weather.
Yes.
And then February, once we averaged out the cold first half and the warm second half, about a degree below average, so slightly cool. So at Portland, it was the 19th warmest winter out of 85. So it was at the upper third.
Yeah.
So it was not a cold. It was not a cold La Nina winter.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, our second warmest La Nina winter. Don't you think that's interesting? Considering we consider these typically cool ones. The warmest was 2020, 2021. It was just a few years ago. I think that's the year.
For the warmest?
What was that?
Number one spot? That was the number one spot?
Yeah, it was the number one spot. And we tied with was it 50, 51? I think it was.
Oh, wow. So typically, do we tend to see cooler winters during
La Nina?
La Nina?
We tend, I mean, the big theory is a little cooler than average, but it didn't really happen this year.
Yeah. See, so it's another great example of how, sometimes the quote unquote trends, they don't really, it's picking out of a hat, folks.
Or could it be that the warming climate in general, it's just a cool, what used to be a cold La Nina winter is now just kind of an average winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And El Nino winters are pretty warm. Could be. We had a pretty normal water year so far. Now, of course, we're only partway through the water year. We really need to get all the way through March and early April to kind of see where we are.
Yep.
But as of now, look how average that is.
Yeah. Pretty
much.
I mean,
there's nothing
almost
interesting.
Spot on. A little bit, under normal.
Yeah. January was kind of dry.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have, this is Redmond.
Oh.
I'm about average.
Mm-hmm.
Dry place.
Yeah.
I mean, about 5 inches of precipitation. Some of that is snow, of course, since October 1st.
Yep.
All right. So that's how winter wrapped up. I think in the end, it's like, it was a La Nina winter, but we got 3 inches of snow in Portland, and that was it.
It was
exciting.
Basically nothing to write home about. Like, you're not going to, 10 years from now, you're not going to be like, oh, yes, the 24, 25 winter, I recall. I guess, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you still write home?
You know what?
What a
That's
saying.
one of those perfect phrases where it's like, does anyone actually say that anymore, or should we just retire that one?
Wait, we credit where credit is due. We all remember Anne Campolongo was here for 3 years, left a few years ago, and
Yeah.
she loves writing letters. Some
She
people like
actually
that.
does. Yes.
She's an old soul. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she is. I still get I mean, my generation, we still do send snail mail.
Really?
But yeah, I don't know writing home. Yeah. That dates back to what, like war times, I assume, right?
Well, anytime except the last 15 years, yes.
Oh, I mean,
I'm sorry.
when
the
soldiers
saying,
were
I was like,
away
people
for
had mail.
extended periods of time
Yes.
overseas,
It
right?
must be,
and they were
right?
writing home. I think
Yeah,
so.
or
I think
if you
that's the
were, or
origin.
if you left, if you're an immigrant, maybe you came to the USA and then you're writing back home to Europe or something, or some other country.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what's ahead through mid-month? Topic 3. Here we go. We are flying through this.
Forecast time.
Yeah, forecast time. And you know what? This graphic was not supposed to be in this spot because you're like, what does this have to do with anything coming up?
The 850 millibar temps line. We love this.
Yeah, this is just the Mark's Magic chart. I just use it to show once we get into the warmer time of the year, March through September, I use this chart quite a bit. And I don't even know why it's circled. I grabbed it from last year's March. Oh, I know why, because I grabbed it from last year's March podcast, mid-March, when we had the really warm stuff coming up.
Oh, and it was probably more than 10. Yeah, 850 millibar.
Yeah, basically, if you want to get up around 70, most of the time in March, you're going to want an easterly wind, offshore, downslope wind flow, and you're going to want some sunshine. So you're going to want to be around plus, at 850 millibars, 7 and above, if you're going to want to get to 70. And the big events where we've had 76, 77 degrees, it's probably around plus 10 or plus 12, which we had last week. Remember, Camila, when we had the 70 in late February?
Yep.
But the sun is too weak in late February. But just 3 weeks later in mid-March, you can hit 75, 77 in that same pattern we just had last week.
Interesting.
It's crazy how quickly, it's not crazy, but it's just, as the season progresses, it takes less to get warmer, and that's why our averages come up, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time we're down here, folks.
Yeah.
A lot of data points down here. So there you go. Okay, in honor of Jeff Fordron, who used to work here, we try to always get some sort of satellite loop in, or I do. This is low level water vapor. I think it's low level. Yeah. And so look, I have a little line we're going to draw on.
Infrared.
Can you tell where Camila, test time. Where in this image might there be an upper level trough? Cyclonic flow somewhere.
You get down by
long wave. I mean long wave. Big
long
picture.
wave trough.
Yeah, where is there a dip in kind of the flow?
Well, you've got a little system heading into Southern California.
Bingo, right there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
My pretty line
Good.
there.
I passed the test.
Well, big thing on TV, we don't want to make each other look, like we don't know what we're talking about. So we always try to be supportive.
Sometimes it happens, though, on accident, usuly.
Usually with the anchors, the crosstalk with the anchors, that's kind of inside baseball here. But I always try to be, early in my career, I was not. Like, I would kind of contradict them if they said something odd. Like,
Really?
well,
You'd be
actually,
like,
no, that's not true. Yeah, I was kind of a jerk that way. But now I'm like, no, we're on the same team. So they'll be like, oh, remember that warm day last week? And I'll be like, well, actually, that was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, we all remember it. There's a way to massage it verbally. But anyway, so we have this kind of upper level ridging here. We actually have a bit of a split flow, which you're going to see in the upper level maps. Yeah, it's showery down in California, and we are pretty much dry up here. Here's a better view. This is by Saturday morning. So actually, we're going to move ahead a day here. That trough, which was over California on Saturday, then is over the Four Corners region.
Yep.
Where have you ever been to the Four Corners, Camila?
No.
There's an actual site. Well, did you see that?
Well, where you can put your foot in all 4 states or something?
Did you see that movie Vacation?
No.
The most recent one. We'll talk about it afterwards. Anyway, that was the big place to go hang out late at night, I guess.
What
on the
would
Four Corners.
What is there besides a sign there, right?
That's all that there. You can just touch all that, and you have to kind of wait in line.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right.
Okay. But it does go to Native American tribes because they own that land, so it does go to
Okay, that part's cool.
Anyway, so beyond the Four Corners, so that's why I mentioned Four Corners. So the flow on Saturday, we've got a big upper level trough moving towards the west. Well, it's well off the west coast there. And then you see the trough that's moving into California. Part of the energy is going down around that. I'm guessing, I haven't even paid attention, but I think this may be a severe weather pattern across the southern plains, just a guess.
Get some convergence going on there.
Yeah, and then you have the northern flow up here. So that's Saturday. And then by Monday, so remember the trough's out here. Watch that. By Monday, look at that. Oops. By Monday, okay, we're back together again. By Monday, we still have the flow here kind of coming across southern Canada, northern USA, but that trough, instead of coming in as a whole, one big trough along the West Coast, it's splitting in. Part of it's going down into California.
Yeah.
That's Monday. So that's why when we say, yeah, we got a great weekend because of the ridging, but then Monday and Tuesday, it's really weak sauce.
Yeah.
We're just getting leftover showers. Maybe something's trying to come in from the west by Tuesday. This is Monday afternoon. So still pretty weak stuff.
Yeah.
Then on Wednesday, it's a little more interesting. That's actually the one
juicier.
thing. Sorry, I got to drink water. But on
Pause for
Wednesday,
hydration.
yeah. On Wednesday, there's a little more, the trough is a little more together. It's a little more consolidated like we like to see. And in fact, is this? Okay. So you can't really see it, but there's actually a little shortwave trough in here that is swung by Wednesday morning, which we think may spin up an area of low pressure. More on that in a second. So leading up to that time, if I just look at the next 2 weeks, 850, this is the Euro ensembles, 50 different ensemble members. Next 2 weeks, anything in yellow is like a high temperature in the upper 50s or higher.
Yep.
This is 6 hourly maxes. You can clearly see the 2 warmest days of the next 8 days at least. They're going to be here, aren't they? Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
I put the dumb little S there because I didn't realize after I imported this graphic, I had a little box to highlight the next 2 weekends.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I'm looking ahead, I'm thinking about the next 2 weekends. I have, an extra day off this weekend, one extra day off next weekend. I'm thinking, which weekend is looking better for outdoors? Right now, sure looks like this weekend.
Yeah,
because you don't see any warm stuff here. I like these little hints here.
Yeah. So that would
maybe
be the end of the next week. Is
following
that
week.
right?
Yeah, we're going to get to
following
that. I got more, but yeah, so that's really the next chance. It looks like we're going into a significant, either average or cooler than average period here. So enjoy the weekend. I think that's my main message.
week. Right.
Now, I mentioned that little wave coming by on Wednesday in the upper atmosphere. So, I put on the BC word up there. See bomb cyclone?
Oh, trigger word.
Now, as of this Thursday evening, we've established it's Thursday evening after starting this podcast twice. You can see the GFS has a little low. I've put on 24 hours of movement here. It goes from 1,003. What does it become? 980.
987.
Less than 20 millibars enhancement.
What
It kind of comes.
What does it have to be a bomb cyclone again?
About 24 at our latitude, 24 millibar
okay.
drop in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that's the GFS, and this is just the latest run of the GFS. Each run is different, but clearly there's something probably coming up the coastline. And it goes what did I say? 990 to 987. Look at the Euro. Mother of God, look at that.
Oh boy, 968. Is that where it bottomed out?
Yeah, so this was our 18Z run. At this point, it's easterly wind, and then by the end here, by midday Wednesday, probably a southerly wind is picking up.
Oh, look at those tight gradients.
That said, I don't have... Oh, wait, they are on here. Is this the danger zone? This is 130... No, this is... You know what? I think these lines you can barely... I'm sure you can't see them for the podcast. This is 125 west. Must be 135 west.
Okay.
So it's just barely getting to the danger zone. 130 is about here.
Okay.
This is just one run. So you're like, this does grab my attention. And I think I have 2 great tools. So when we have something like this coming up and I'm like, well, which model's correct? Or, we're still, is that 5 days out? About 5 days out, 6 days. I look at that and I'm like, we have great tools nowadays. Here's one of them. So this is taking that same Euro run and running those 50 different ensembles and plotting the lowest pressure at a certain time from each model.
That's cool.
So midday Wednesday, you can see all the different ensemble members. This one has a 973 low really close to the coast. Ooh, exciting. This one has a 978 way down here. Never mind, it's just light easterly breezes.
Yeah.
None of them are lower than, what do I see, 963?
Yeah.
I don't see any lower. Yeah, so none of them are forecasting like what we had. Was it mid-November? We had a 943 or 942 millibars. So none of them are showing that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of close to the danger zone. So when I look at this, I'm like, well, something might be up. So that made me say rainy and breezy Wednesday. We'll see if it's more than breezy. But there's one more tool. Here we go, folks. But water first. This is showing same model run. Oops, I'm sorry. We're going back one model run to the 12Z. Because the 18Z, there just weren't enough data points. It stopped right at that point. So 50 different ensemble runs, the 6-hour max gust. So by looking at this, at the bottom, we got this weekend and next weekend. In between, next Wednesday, the average of all those different ensemble members, it does average a gust 35 knots. Is this knots? Probably.
No, it's in miles per hour.
Oh, it is miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see that average just this winter, when we've had several kind of windy events, when I see it get up around 40, then I'm like, ooh, okay, this could be a power outage type thing. I'm just saying when I look at the average of all the runs.
Right.
So then you look at all those colors. I know those are tiny numbers. So wait. Oh, anything that's yellow is a 48 mile per hour higher gust on the Euro. Oh, here it sees.
Oh, there we go. Is that a 64 on there?
Yeah, it sure is, Camilla.
Wow.
The bottom one is the operational model. So the actual operational model says, okay, this could be
Right
a
around
situation where we
40.
get some power outages, but it's not a big storm. But, there are 4 different, I counted earlier, actually sat there during the 6 o'clock show and counted. There were 5, I think there were 5 ensemble members that had gusts over 50. So something to watch, but this is a tool I use it's amazing how quickly you can come in. You're in a hurry. You got shows coming up, got to make a quick forecast. All right. Okay, there's a few members. Let's just call it windy for now. If I see a whole bunch more members show up and it goes above 40, then I'm like, oh, could be a first alert weather day.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we could have red.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy.
We love that red.
Scary.
All right. So beyond that, so we're watching Wednesday. I'd say that's the one. If we talk about the next week, that's the one thing I'm watching. Could something pop up Wednesday? Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Bigger picture. So days 2 through 9, this is the GFS Ensemble's most recent run. We clearly have upper level troughing, lower than normal heights over us. We're going into a cooler and wet period. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. That's the GFS. Now, if we go days 9 through 16, and this is a 7-day average, but it takes us to the Saturday of Oregon spring break when it starts.
Yeah.
It's a little more, I don't know.
Maybe a little more average-y.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, fair. And the Euro, the same time, days 8 through 15. Actually, it's about 2 days earlier. A little more troughing. Might be catching more of the troughing in that first week here because it starts next Thursday.
Yeah.
Big message is we have some troughing coming up for the next week. Beyond that, could it get a little better towards spring break? We don't want to plant false hope for spring break.
Right.
Because some of us have time off.
There's a chance.
But there's a chance. There's a chance. If we just take a look at the Euro ensemble, the average, the high and low temperature forecast from all those ensembles, the little dash line is the average high. Now the Euro ensemble surface temps is just the surface temps tend to run a little cooler than reality. Like look at today, 54. It was actually 58 or 59, wasn't it?
I think it was 59. Yeah.
Yeah. And like we're expecting probably 60 to 62 coming up Saturday and Sunday when it has fit. The point is, so I put the average.
Degrees.
I put the average here at about 52, which we know the actual average is about 56 this time of the year.
Yeah. So definitely getting cooler starting next Monday. Clear pattern change there.
I totally agree. We are in agreement.
Yes.
And then the 850 millibar temperature chart here, this just shows the same time period. So through Friday the 21st, this is when the kids are last day of school. They're not really doing much work the day before spring break. They're too excited.
You don't know.
I was there.
Watching movies? Oops. You're probably right.
They didn't watch movies when I was, oh, never mind.
Oh, wait. Oh.
They didn't have VCRs. By high school they did.
Oh, that is.
But I had the kind like where they like tick 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 when the little
Are you
film.
serious?
Yeah, they would the little
you had
film.
to crank your TV.
Yeah, I still remember those weird like they at my grade school in 6th grade. All the boys had to go into one room. All the girls went to another room, and we had to watch a sex education video. Yeah. And it was from the 50s. So even then it was old. And I just remember they had to bring in like the little turning tape thing. Oh, there's one over there actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So movies.
Imagine.
So the big question is, do they still watch movies the day before a vacation? You know what? They worked hard all winter. They should.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the chart. So this is 850 millibar Euro. It's just the Euro. Yes, it's the Euro ensemble. And you can see the green is the average. Past elevation is going a little above Sunday because it's nice weather this weekend. A little below, well below here. Maybe down to about -4 next Thursday, Friday. This tells me we'll get some good, solid, cold snow in the Cascades, I think, later next week.
Nice.
And it goes up a little, then down a little, then up a little. Notice if we want sea level snow, -8. Let's say we want a -8.
Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah. We got some -6s, maybe some -7s in there, maybe. And this is, I should say, these are like the very lowest numbers.
Right.
I much prefer these high ones.
Oh, geez.
That is interesting.
Quite the range.
This will be interesting to watch because it does show right at the end of the run, those last 3 days, more high numbers, plus 10 or so.
Yeah.
So maybe a 70 out there as we head towards spring break. We do not want to plant false hope.
No.
So there's our current 7-day forecast. So we showed all our homework, as we like to say, and here's our
The
presentation right here.
product, yes.
Yeah, but this is the whole point of this podcast is to show you all the homework. So not much rain Monday, Tuesday, but pretty wet Wednesday and beyond.
Yeah. Okay.
Term of the week. Here we go.
Oh
Are
boy.
you ready, folks, for the term of the week?
Oh.
Planetary parade. Remember that last week? Camila, did you look up in the sky on one of those days? And is this what you saw in the sky?
Well, I remember we were we were looking at some sky cams, and then I was in Hood River like that weekend, and I swear we could see a few of them.
I think you could.
Yeah, bright planets up there, but
it wasn't quite like that.
Did we see 7 in a row? No.
Were they that big in the sky?
This is not a 2-scale photo or picture.
Yeah. I just got this off. I probably grabbed it. I think it was from another Fox station.
Oh.
So there we go. So we know we could see Venus, Jupiter, and Mars pretty well. But Saturn and Mercury, they're really low in the sky. You'd have to have like a totally unobstructed, pretty much over the ocean, or a long, if you were in Eastern Oregon where it's totally flat to the southwest.
Yeah.
You might have seen those. And the other two were Uranus and Neptune. You would need a telescope. So in reality, most of us could see 3.
I see.
But, sometimes some media hype builds and, it's still interesting.
Yeah.
But just, I think
the
some people might have
possibility
thought,
was there. If everything was perfect and you were in the perfect spot, you could have seen 7 planets in the sky at once.
well, if you had a telescope.
If you had a telescope.
But your eyeball couldn't have seen that.
Right. But what's the definition? We should backtrack. What is the definition of planetary parade? So when you can see 4 or 5?
The term of the week?
Yeah. Should we define the term of the week?
Planetary parade. Yeah. Don't you think there need to be at least 4 or 5?
I think that's what I was reading last week.
I mean, a lot of people do have a telescope or maybe binoculars, right? You're looking at the official. I don't think there's an official definition.
Tappity tap. Yeah. It just says when multiple planets are visible at the same time. So it doesn't actually specify naked eye versus telescope.
Right. Because a lot of people do have a telescope. Or you would think binoculars. I wonder if you could have seen Neptune and Uranus.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Anyway, that was just an excuse to show my little graphic I made here. Dashing people's hopes against the wall.
The big dramatic X's. Sorry if I gave anyone false hope, because I definitely used this graphic and was like, ooh, exciting. But man,
it's fine. I couldn't find the X. I know we have an X in there, but that was too negative anyway. Like just the mean old guy trying to dash hopes.
Yeah.
Okay, viewer photos. We got some good ones. Camila, you did all of these. Ooh.
Yeah, these are always fun to go through. This was beautiful. Speaking of the kind of astronomy thread, so you can see just the Milky Way, so beautiful there above the Friend Schoolhouse in Wasco County. Have you been here? I've never been here.
I think I've driven through Friend, but I don't remember what it was like 25 years ago.
Okay. It's kind of a creepy little schoolhouse that somebody planted an eerie green light in, but really makes for a cool picture. So thank you, Eric, for this one.
And as far as I'm aware, it's not actually abandoned. I don't know if it's actually used, but maybe it's just kept. Maybe it's on private. I don't know the situation.
Okay. Yeah.
Wasco County. So this is south of the Dalles and Dufur.
Yeah.
Speaking of east end of the gorge.
Beautiful. Sunset over the Hood River Marina. Thank you, Troy, for this one. You can see, some different clouds there in the shot. I always think when we get those kind of thin clouds, we always get the prettiest colors, I think, in the sunsets. Yeah.
Yeah. Pure blue sky is no fun.
No. Yeah. Not as
Up
dramatic.
on the left there, you see Mount Defiance. You can almost see the radio. There's radio towers up there to the west of Hood River.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Mount Defiance is named, I think it's named because it defiantly stands with snow all the way into May.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I think it's related to that, yeah. Basically, because it's 5,000 feet, so that it's defiant even when it's getting into the 70s or maybe even 80s in the lowlands. There's still that snow hanging on up there.
Cool.
I love that area.
That is beautiful. And then a nice shot of Hoodie here from Timberline Lodge. Jane sent this in. Jane, by the way, also sends us wonderful pictures of her fluffy white dogs.
Oh,
I know, I'm sure you've seen those.
It's
the same person. Yes.
Thank you, Jane.
I think she lives around government camp, but she always sends really cute pictures of her dogs playing in the snow.
You can see Devil's Kitchen is steaming up there. See that bare area in the crater?
Yeah.
Someday. I have to mention that every time we have a good Mount Hood picture.
Yeah.
Someday.
Ooh, this
speaking
is a
of
good
Mount
one.
Hood.
Vonnie Fisher. Okay, so we see a nice thick layer of fog in the valley, and you see the sunrise peeking up behind Mount Hood. Very beautiful. So this was taken from Pittock Mansion.
So twice per year, I suppose. It's like a little mini Stonehenge thing there. Twice per year, it must be directly behind the mountain from that vantage point.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
So cool.
By the way, we have it on the previous graphic. we'd love to see your pics. So old style, I like the big computer, kptv.com/weather. You just go to the weather page. It says submit your photos and videos there. But we did get that email, remember, about a month ago. Please, folks, please make sure you tell people the best way to submit is on the app.
Yep. It makes it very easy. I've done it from my phone. Yeah.
But the lawyers kind of require us to, we can't just grab a picture off Facebook anymore because we get sued.
Yeah. Right.
We don't like to get sued. The boss frowns upon that. Lawyers that run that the corporation hires really frown on it strongly.
Yeah.
We don't like getting sued. Corporations don't like getting sued for good reason.
It's too expensive. We need our pizza parties.
It's too expensive. Pizza party. They had massages today. Did you get a massage?
Wait, those chair massages?
They were today, but I was too busy. Yeah, they were looking. This morning, the email said there were still openings. My neck is sore right now.
More importantly, cheese food truck tomorrow.
Right.
Did you see that?
I have the day off, so I'm going to miss it. Oh my gosh.
You're going to miss out on a good grilled cheese sandwich.
Camila, how dumb was I? She was passing out when I was in the makeup room earlier. She asked me and Nora, and she said, "You guys need tickets?" And why didn't I? How stupid could I be? I should have said,
"Get me extra tickets."
You could have had 2 cheesies.
Oh my gosh. I still haven't picked mine up. Hopefully she's here tomorrow.
Failed you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's bad. That's really bad.
That's
you always look out for your coworkers.
That's true. And food is the most important thing.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll forgive you.
Next time. Yeah. Always take free stuff, and even if you think you're not going to use it, you might be able to pass it on.
Exactly. That is the lesson of this entire podcast. If you take anything from this podcast, it's that.
Well, folks, I think we've reached the end. We have reached the end, right?
Yes, I think so.
Let's not belabor this. I'm hungry. I got some dinner in there. I got the hot dog machine ready to go in there. Okay, so thanks for joining us. We will be back next week. We're trying to do these once a week. These also play not only online, kptv.com. We recommend you watch the video version, like I said, but these do play on Fox 12 Now, which is our digital channel. If you have our app, very easy to watch. It even tells you when it's on. They play at 2 p.m. Generally on Friday. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week for episode 130.
And hesitating and tell us, please tell us.